going to teach you a trick that I've used over the years. One of the things about Renaissance paintings, a lot of times they use a red underpainting. And sometimes I feel like mimicking that red underpainting. So I'm going to turn this sort of blurred version off. I'm going to go down to here. And I'm going to go to my channels. And I'm going to duplicate my red channel. Let me throw that one away so I can do it again. So I'm going to duplicate my red channel, pulling it exactly the same way. Now I've got the red channel duplicated. That means it's just red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and I'm going to use an, come on, Edit. Okay. I'm going to filter, and I'm going to go to Filter Gallery, and I'm going to go down to Stylize Glowing Edges. And I'm going to say, okay. Now I've got these glowing edges as my extra thing there, all right? And it will look like that. Don't like it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those glowing edges into a marquee. I'm going to go back, bring these back up, turn that off, go back to my layers. I'm going to add a new layer. Now I've got this set up, so what I want to do is I want to make this red. Now I've found that it doesn't fill well, so what I usually have to do is go to the gradient tool. Now I've discovered the new version of the gradient tool has a real sucky thing, which it doesn't go immediately foreground background. I've made these both red. So I have to go to Basics and select that I want it to be foreground background. All right. So now I just filled it as foreground background, Control D. It looks like this, kind of weird. But now what we've got is this sort of red overpainting, and I'm going to reduce it just a little bit, and it's going to give me this really wonderful red, just a little bit of glow. And I'm going to go make a plus in here. And I might decide to take that out, just using a brush, an eraser, and erase out on this side. So it's only really coming in on the other side. And again, you get to play with how much opacity you want on that. All right, love it. Now, one thing, and there's my blur. So now I've got it's very, very juicy, and I may decide that it's almost too juicy. So again, what I'm going to do is image. I do this all the time. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to duplicate layers only. So now I've got this duplicated, and I'm going to go into here, which allows me to, if we're lucky, the sponge tool, and this allows me to desaturate. So let's see what happens if we desaturate this whole thing just a little bit. And not loving it. No. I'm going to use this and go back. All right, sponge tool, go back. There we are. All right, now I'm just going to do a little bit over here because I'm going to just sponge out the brightness here. I could have done this with vibrance, and I might afterwards, but I want to just go into this side and reduce it. All right, so I'm really giving myself that sort of Renaissance look, and probably I would leave it like this. I might go into, not properties, but I might go back into vibrance and bring the saturation down just a smidgen and the vibrance down just a smidgen. I really love that vibrance. All right, so now I've got this pretty much the way I want it to be. Only thing I do is I don't like the composition, so I'm going to crop the bad boy. So I'm going to crop it so that the face is more over to the side like this. Yeah, let's give it a little bit more shoulder, but I really want, let's see if I can pull the eye to that location so it really has that sort of staring at you kind of property. All right, so there is my Renaissance version of roof. I might say to myself, like it. Now I'm going to just flatten this whole thing. I'm going to flatten image, bam. And I might decide that, I want to have, I'm going to put a little white border around it. So it's flattened, so it's going to be the background. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to make the edge so you can really see the edge. All right, So that's how to make a Renaissance portrait of yourself.